Okay, so the next lesson is 5.4, and we're going to algebraically convert point slope to standard form. Now remember, we learned about point slope back here for 5.2, all right? So let's turn to page 10 in our notes, and we're going to go ahead and get going on 5.4. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind. Point slope. You have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and we're going to be converting that to y equals mx plus b. And then we have to convert that to ax plus by is equal to c. All right, we already know how to do this. This was yesterday's lesson, so we're just adding a step previous to that. So I want you to notice something. This is a y1, that will be a number. You have your slope, okay, and then you have your x. So this is a point, that's what you're given, and a slope, and that's why it's called point slope form, okay? Standard form is over here. This is your standard form. But in order to go from point slope to standard form, I have to go through slope intercept. Okay, so here we go. Let's give it a try. First of all, this is y1. This is x1. And this is my slope. Okay, so I'm using these colors to help you see where I'm putting these things. Now, when you subtract a negative, you're really adding. So y, and I'm going to do minus negative 4, but really I'm adding. So I'm going to do plus 4 equals, and I'm going to put my slope in. So this is my y. Okay, and then I'm going to put my m in. Then I'm going to have x minus, okay, so this is where the slope goes. This is where the x goes. So this is going to be a negative 1/3, and this is going to be a 6. Okay, so you got to make sure you put them in the right spot. All right, so the first thing I have to do is distribute. I have to multiply the negative 1/3 by each of these items. So I have y plus 4 equals a negative 1/3 x, and a negative times a negative is a positive, okay? And then I want you to think about something. Negative 1/3 times negative 6 over 1. You should be able to do this in your calculator. That would give me a positive 6 over 3, which is 2. And you can do this in your calculator, but if you're trying to do it in your head, be very careful and double check. There's no need to get that wrong. Okay, now I'm going to move my 4. I have to subtract it because it's already positive. So y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus, minus 2. Okay, this is slope intercept. Okay, that's this one. This is step 2. All right, this would be step 3. Okay, so we had step 1. This is step 2. Now we're going to have to take that and turn it into, I'm going to write it up over here. Y is equal to negative 1/3 x minus 2. All right, now remember our steps from yesterday. I have to take this and move it over there. So we're going to add. So I get 1/3x plus y is equal to negative 2. Now I can't leave this denominator. So I have to multiply here and here and here. So I'm going to multiply by a 3. So So I'm going to get 1x. You can just write x, but it's 1x if you feel more comfortable with that. 3y equals negative 6. And there's my answer. That's what I'm trying to get to. Okay. All right, let's do it again. Here we go. This is a point. So we're going to have our y is here, our x is here, our slope is here. And I'm using that because I color coded those, right? So I'm going to do y minus, and then an equals. I'm going to have an m sitting right there, and then I'm going to have x minus. Okay, so again, I'm using the color coding for you. All right, let's put all those colors in the right spot. So y take away 5, and then this negative 4 is my slope. It's going to sit right there. And then x, we're going to subtract a negative 2. When you subtract a negative 2, you're really adding. So I'm going to put plus 2. Okay? So I have everything in place. Now I'm going to distribute. So I get y minus 5 equals negative 4x minus 8. Okay, because a negative times a positive is a negative. Then I have to add my 5. So y is equal to negative 4x minus 3. Okay, now I'm not done. I just went from point slope to slope intercept. This is point slope. This is slope intercept. All right, let's move this up here. And by the way, I'm not sure if I've said it, but I really am looking for every step. So a lot of your points are coming from each step in the process. So just make sure that you're showing all of your steps, and that way we can help you learn what you're supposed to. This is a negative 4x, got to move it over there. So I'm going to add. And what I like about this question is there are no fractions. So I have 4x, I have 1y, and that equals a negative 3. So there we go. There's my standard form. Okay. All right. Let's kind of change this up a little bit. I want to do something here. I'm going to kind of just change it up. Let's line through that. Okay. And let's do this. Let's write 6, 2, and let's write negative 4, negative 13. So this is x1, and this is y1. By the way, some of you are still writing this as a y, and that is an x, but x comes first in the alphabet. Okay, so x2 and y2. All right, so basically you're mixing up your x's and y's. So you need to be really careful, okay? So the very first thing I have to do is I have to find my slope. Okay, do you remember slope? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now make sure you label, because this is the seating chart. And we're going to take all of these and we're going to put them in the seating chart where we've said they need to sit. So you do need to label. We're going to do negative 13. That's that one. I'm going to subtract 2. That's that one. Over, I need a negative 4. And then I need minus 6. Okay? By the way, negative 4 and negative 13 are stacked vertically, and they're right here. 6 and 2 are stacked vertically. They're right here. So my slope is going to be a negative 15 over negative 10. And I can divide each of these by 5, right? So I'm going to get a negative 3 over a negative 2. But a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's a positive 3 over 2. So that's my slope. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that green. And then you actually can pick whichever of these points that you want to use. So how about we use the one that is positive completely? So here's my y value, and here's my x value. Let's go put them into slope, or the point slope form. Okay, so y minus y1 equals, oh, I don't want to put an m there, I want to put a number, and x minus a number. Okay, so this is where my slope's going to go, this is where my x is going to go, and this is where my y is going to go. All right, we're going to use this one. So y take away 2 equals 3 over 2, and then x minus 6. So this is point slope, and I'm going to turn it into slope intercept. I have to multiply. So I get y minus 2 equals 3 over 2x. Now I'm going to get a negative, because this is a positive and a negative. 3 times 6 is 18, divided by 2, that would be 9. Okay? And then you can also do that in your calculator if you need to. All right? Then I'm going to, well, I'm going to move up here because I ran out of room. So y minus 2 equals 3 over 2x minus 9. Let's add 2 right here. So I'm going to get y is equal to 3/2 x minus 7. Okay, so this is slope intercept, and I'm not done with that. I have to move this over, that. I'm going to move it over there. So I'm going to get minus 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2x. So here we go. Negative 3 over 2x plus y equals negative 7. Okay, now I want to show you something. Prior to this question, I was just dividing or multiplying by this denominator, and then I was dividing by -1, but you really can do it all at one time. So this is a negative, and that's a 2. I can multiply by -2 here, and here, and here. I can do it all at one time, right? So I'm going to multiply by -2. I'm going to multiply by -2. I'm going to multiply by -2. So that's the same thing we were doing here, and same thing we did yesterday. So this is going to become 3x, and this will become a -2y, and this will become a positive 14. And there we go. All right. Let's see, we've got one more to do, and then we'll talk about what it is that you're going to do for your assignment. Okay, so here, all right, we have a slope. That's this. We have our x value and our y value. Okay, so we're going to have that equals m. And I know not everybody needs to color code, but quite frankly, it's very helpful, and some of you benefit from it, so that is why I'm doing it. Okay, so I color coded here, put the things in that needed to go in. All right, let's go ahead and distribute. Okay, so y minus 5 equals 7 over 3x. Now, this right here, 7 divided by 3 times this -3 over 1. See that right there? That is going to reduce out. So I'm just going to have a -7. Okay, you can think of it like -21 divided by 3 if you wanted to. So -21 divided by 3. Okay, and that's where I get that -7. You can also use your calculator to do it as well. All right, now we're going to add 5. So y is equal to 7 over 3x minus 2. This is slope intercept, but we're not done. Y is equal to 7 over 3x minus 2. All right, this is going to move over there. So we're going to subtract. So negative 7 over 3x plus y equals negative 2. I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the last question. I'm going to multiply by a negative 3 in all of these places. Okay, so that is going to get multiplied by a negative 3. So is this one, and so is this one. Okay, negative times a negative is a positive, so I get a positive 7, I get a negative 3y, and I get a positive 6. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm going to be wanting you to do. First of all, I believe you have a 5.4 worksheet. That will be your homework. Okay, and then I need you see this here, this mixed practice. Okay, I really need you to do this mixed practice so that, whoa, that's fun. I need you to do this to the best of your ability, okay? And I need you to show all of your steps. And then I need you to bring the questions that you have. So work them, show all of your steps, work them, and then if you're not sure about something, like go ahead and do it, but then put a star by it because you know you have a question. All right, well that is the end of this lesson, and I will see you later.